Top of the morning, me fellow peasants, how you all doing? So, continuing theory week, and I've wanted to speak about Aranea Highwind. I think it's Aranea is the correct way to say it, and I'm actually converted to Aranea from Aranea. I'm not, however, converted from Gentiana just yet to Gentiana. And this is a follow-on from the previous video I just did, that Dave's line and the Auburn were a significant family in this game, and depending on how you want to chalk this theory up, I really think there is something there. As crazy and out there it is, that I do believe that there's so much evidence that there is a family line in this game who are the demon hunters and are represented on the Genesis artwork here. Hopefully you've seen the video on this that explains all of this. If you haven't, you can click the screen now and go check that video out. Before we speak about Aranea Highwind, are you done? Is everyone clued up? Well then let's continue on. So buckle up, you're gonna need a seatbelt. Let's go! So in that video you'll see I talked about Aranea, and we don't know much about her. We don't know who her family is, we don't know what her family line is, and we don't know where she's got her powers and her gifts from. But with the Auburn, meaning red royalty, and with Square Enix leaving so many hints of red around Dave and Kimya and Yzma and the family, and I really like this concept that Square Enix have thought about different mage classes. So with the Kalums, because they use death magic and dark magic, they would of course be black mages. Then you have the Florets, who use the power of healing, white mages. And now we could see the Auburn as red mages. Remember I said this woman here on the Cosmology, the Amana artwork, sorry, she was the founder of it, of the Auburn line. But what went over a lot of people's heads, and I need to emphasize it again, is they didn't give people powers in this game for the sake of it. People who use magic, it wasn't just willy-nilly. Only the Florets and Kalums could use it, and it always came at a price. And there was always a logical, canonical explanation as to why anyone could use magic if they were able to use it. Magic was so significant in this game that if someone could use it without an explanation, they would be cast out and seen as a witch, just like Kimya. And this is the thing, if that is so, the Auburn they've worked from the shadows, they've been demon hunters, and they've tried to keep their family power under secrecy, under lock and key, and that's why Yzma banished Kimya out to Malmalam Thicket, because she was giving the secret away that they had magic. But there was one character who can use magic, and it was never explained, and that was Aranea Highwind. She fits the profile of an Auburn in every way, and while her surname is Highwind, we don't know if she's an orphan, we don't know what's going on with her family, and if she could be a lost Auburn. And the reason I say this is, it is significant that she can use both magic and she has the power of swordplay. Again, that's what fits the profile of a red mage. Also, she is a demon hunter, and she's one of the best at it, and in fact she's one of the most dedicated to the cause of slaying demons. At the end of the game, she'll only appear to help Noctis and Co slay the demons. She clearly didn't want to fight Noctis and Co. In fact, the second she found out that Niflheim were using demons in their magitech, she left. Without hesitation she left, and she went into the private mercenary business to help slay demons and save people from the demons, from the Star Scourge. And that's what's brilliant about Aranea. I'll quickly interject here. That's what's fantastic about her. This game was so much focused on Noctis and the brothers' story that it was just their story. It's about Noctis reclaiming his throne. But Aranea, she represented and gave us just a hint, a teaser, that there was more plight in the world and there was more suffering beyond just Noctis and Co.'s story. She was out helping people, saving people's lives, besides just having the sassy, kind of sarcastic and very, very blunt. She's a realist. She gets to the point, and that's a very classic Dragoon personality. So we saw that with Freya, we saw that with Fang, we saw that with Kain. Very classic base traits that Dragoons typically have. And Aranea, she just personified them excellently, but she also had this side of empathy, and she had this side of care. She wanted to better the world, and one of my favourite lines was the one she gave to Ignis when she found out he went blind. She was, "Ah, that's tough." Showed that empathy, but then edged to that empathy off with, "But it's a cruel world." So she's just straight to the point and a realist. But why I think she really could be a lost Auburn is because they are demon hunters, and Aranea personifies the biggest desire to be a demon hunter, and she does hunt demons. Again, with all those hints of red and red royalty, we now look at the fact that Aranea's airship it's red. Her armour is red, the gloves are red, parts of the armour are red, the boots are red, and also the boots are very similar to the Red Witch. I just saw these two boots and I thought, damn, they're like a mirror image of each other. So she's definitely got the swordplay side of things down, and she's got the hints of red, but she's also got that side of magic. And again, like I said, magic in this world, it doesn't come freely and frequently. You have to question where they come from. Aranea could fly. She can fly, she can tangle with Noctis in the air, and this ability was what grabbed the attention of the Niflheim army. I mean, it states that outright in the lore. It says, Aranea was a mercenary who was hired by Niflheim due to her incredibly unique fighting abilities. Incredibly unique. That's the hint right there. Niflheim saw that what she could do and they're like, holy crap, so this isn't something that a normal person can do. And the fact that they also tinge a lot of her attacks, look, they are laced with red animation. Her spell effects are red. And that's the thing, although she is a Dragoon, are her base powers connected to the Auburn and to the Red Mage Demon Slaying line? I really think it could be so. And even if we go back to the previous video I did about Arden, I said, could he be part Red Mage? Does he have the power of the Red Mages? And he has both the power of the Calems and the Auburn, and that's why he can perform witchcraft that the Calems couldn't. Well, it was only after I said all of that, and I pointed out all the things with the red and the Red Mages and the hints of red in the name. Well, it was only after I realised, oh my goodness, Arden in the final fight, his entire form is red, his weapons are red. He's red. He's redder than Red 13. And now I look at a possible canonical link. That would be so cool, and I would like to think that Square Enix, that would be such a cool concept that they did. They base this around 3 families based around the 3 primary base magics of classic Final Fantasy: Black Mages, White Mages, and Red Mages. And I know there was so much doubt that Dave could be as significant a person as I said, but again, until someone could answer, why was it Dave who became leader of the last remnants of mankind? Why is it that Dave has been given this entire backstory of family, and how do they have magic? And why are they on the Genesis artwork? And why does Dave have tattoos? People are so quick to dismiss, oh, it's just Dave, it was Dave, no. I think I even had about 15 comments on my previous video. Oh, you've done a video about Dave being a Red Mage and King. Well, I'm doubtful. I haven't even seen the video yet, but it's bullshit. It's already bullshit, I can tell. What? Well, explain all of this. Explain all of these links and give me a decent retort for me to go away and research. And if you give me a decent retort as to why Dave and his family, who Square Enix have clearly placed a lot of backstory and lore towards, so much subtle hinting and referencing about the colour red, even an entire backstory of Yzma being the one who guided Regis, and it's likely that the Auburn Brides have done this from day one. There's so much backstory and lore to FF15 that I have to admit, in cinematics cutscenes in the game, it didn't get shown in a clear way, but over 5 different rewrites, and over the course of 10 years, this game has accrued so much lore. So much, in fact, that they had to do a Kingsglaive movie in Brotherhood. They said it was because they have tons and tons of lore. That's why. I think backstories like this and hidden lore is running through the game, but it was just all about being able to show it. And unfortunately, whether it was time constraints or whether it was because Tab, to quote, wanted to show a simplistically presented story and didn't want to be confusing people with all this backstory, and you get what I'm saying, guys. For whatever reason they didn't show it, I still think there are subtle hints and referencing going on in this game. And even if none of it is true, it's fun to create the headspaces and the headcanons regardless, to try to explain things, and I could just present the evidence and you'll either believe it or you won't. But for this particular one, I think there is a hell of a lot of evidence for it. I think it's pretty compelling. I think there's some definite links, and Square Enix have gone to some lengths to create some backstory and lore. None of this is in here by mistake or coincidence. And the thing with Aranea Highwind is perhaps she is an Auburn, or perhaps red magic in the world of Eos isn't even exclusive to the Auburn. None of them have to be related, and that Square Enix, they have created a theme of black, white and red magic in the game, and perhaps it's not exclusive to any family. But I kind of think that that is the theme Square have gone for, to connect classes of magic to certain families, obviously with the Calems and the Fluets. So it is possible that Aranea is an orphan, and that's why she joined the Nifs, and that's why she's probably had a turbulent background, because the Auburn Brides do this. They seem to disown their kids, and it seems this is a world where there are plenty of orphans. And speaking of orphans, there is one other character besides Aranea. In the game she was strictly the other one, but if we go to the entire universe, Kingsglaive. When we know that the Auburn-Bries want to keep their powers and their magical abilities secret, remember that's why Yzma banished her own sister, and who in KG could fit all of this profile? Crowes. Now she was a confirmed orphan, and she was also confirmed as being magically gifted like none other. And Crow, who has red eyes and a red necklace and a red cape, she was such a dope character, and magically one of the most powerful Kingsglaive members, if not the most powerful. And that's the thing, she was recruited because she had magical powers. And the tornado, according to the description of it, is Crow's spell. She's actually the one conjuring that fiery red tornado to stop the demons. Again, stopping demons, fighting demons. And Auburn-Bry responsibility. All of this applies, everything that applies to Aranea can apply to Crow. And that the other KG members who were there were merely bolstering her spell and lending their power. So Crow could be part of this hidden Auburn-Bry Red Mage line. And it all points towards it, because there's even the same thing happens with Kimya, happens with Crow. Remember, she gets cast out for being a witch. Well, they went into the backstory of Crow very briefly. Libidus spoke about how he first found Crow. She was a scrawny little thing, just when she was a little girl, covered in dirt. But he saw something special in her eyes.
Do you remember the first time I saw her? Scrawny little thing, all covered in dirt. Not a friend in the world. But those eyes. Damn. There was something about those eyes.
But it's the reason why Libidus found Crow scrawny, dirty and homeless as a child that is key. Are you ready for this, guys? Hold on to your butts. Remember, keep the story of Kimya in your mind. She was forced out for being a witch. So it says that Crow grows up an orphan on the outskirts of Lucis, but she is forced out of her village by the other villagers and allowed to join the Kingsglaive when she shows skill with magic.
She was brought up an orphan. Run out of her village.
Cast me out into the forest, they did.
Not a friend in the world.
But alone I shall be.
Oh my goodness, guys. That is too crazy a coincidence. They didn't make this backstory for Crow. She got forced out for being seen as a young witch. And Kimya. And they didn't do all of this for nothing, guys. I'm convinced of it. And the fact that Crow was an orphan, yeah. I think she's a lost Auburn-Bry, and she is a secret red mage. But again, specifically a red mage who is there to fight demons, because that's exactly what Crow is fighting when they're defending the wall. She's trying to hold back demons with her fiery tornado, those big diamond weapon looking motherfuckers. And the thing is, because Crow is so powerful, and she was one of the most magically gifted Kingsglaive, it makes even more sense if she is a descendant of a line of prolific demon hunters, ones that are like Dave and ones that are so legendary they're even depicted on the EOS artwork, because then that would explain why is it that Crow was the first one to be taken out. Remember, we found out that it was Lush Lazarus who took Crow out, but they did that under the orders of Drautus.
So what kind of mission did you really send her on? No glaive winds up dead on a standard escort.
Drautus, who sold himself to the Magitech and took on demonic powers and abilities and was controlling demons, and that was how he was getting back his vengeance for Regis abandoning his hometown. One of his very first priorities was to take out Crowes. And does that not hint at what kind of threat that Crow must have posed, that she must have presented? So there it is, guys. That's my theory, that's my logic, that's the headcanon I have created on explaining two of this game's most awesome females, in my personal opinion, Crow and Aranea Highwind, and how these two specific outliers could have come to possess their very, very unique yet unexplained magical powers. And if you thought I was going through this entire video talking about Aranea's best qualities, what made her great, and her best assets, well, you were wrong, and I'm gonna say it. And Final Fantasy Pervert will engage. Aranea Highwind, and you know what, I'm going to throw Crow in here as well, are both hot ASF. Fuck. If you give this video a like for anything, at least give it a like for that. Until the next video. Goodbye.